Welcome back to the Mana Clash. We're here. I'm Ian. Alec's here. We're ready for round two. We had a good round one, Alec.
Yes, we did. And we saw what we're predicting is going to be maybe the matchup of the day.
Certainly
Grixis and Eldrazi, some of the more popular decks, and a bit of a head-to-head matchup we're expecting.
Absolutely. Certainly two of the stalwarts of this format here. Australian 7-point Highlander. We're heading into round two in a second.
Yeah.
We've got 160 players here, so 8 rounds today, and then a top 8. It's going to be a full day. But we'll be here. We'll be here to guide you through it, through the ups and the downs, all the exciting games of Magic coming up. In round two, our feature match here, we've got a Bant Nadu deck, so something a bit different, up against the old enemy, Grixis Midrange.
Yeah, is Grixis new cards?
There's a couple of new cards in there.
There are
a couple
some
of new
new
cards.
cards.
We saw
Brand.
Deadpool last round.
Yeah.
That's a cool one. I think we might see that one again this round, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it could be emergency pointed by the end of the day. We don't know.
Alec has no power to do that, just to clarify. He's got no influence on the committee, so...
My influence on the committee is shouting at them. So
Yeah.
no real influence.
To be clear, we don't condone shouting at the committee. Please treat them nicely. They're
I'm the
fantastic
only one that's allowed
volunteers.
to do that.
Absolutely. So Grixis on one side, a couple new cards. Corey Steelcutter as well in there, an exciting new card
Such a
from
great
Tarkia
card.
Dragon Storm, making some monks.
If
on the
only,
other side,
if only a store would sell me one.
well, Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. It's right here.
I'll have to give them a go.
Our fantastic sponsors for the Mana Clash this weekend. Big event today. Team Trios tomorrow. It's a big weekend all
Yeah,
round,
big
really.
weekend of Magic.
So, fantastic event. On the other side, Grixis Midrange,
Yep.
and then Bant Nadu.
Yeah, let's talk about this deck, because this deck is exciting.
Now, I know you want to call this deck Bant Natural Order,
Yeah.
because that's an exciting new card. Now, 0 points recently.
0 points. And also, typically in Legacy, Bant Natural Order would be called Bant Natural Order. It's a deck.
Okay, yep, sure. Bit
but-
different when you have 4 of them, but
Yeah,
yep.
it's different when you have 4 of them, but now the Natural Order is 0 points. We can't really call it
No.
Natural Order. Like, there's also playing Swords to Plowshare. We don't call it
Yep.
Bant Swords to Plowshare.
I want to call it Bant Stock Up. I reckon.
Bant Stock Up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Although, however, and we're winding our way to the real answer of the deck name here, there is a Nadu in it. And it's a Nadu deck, folks.
Yeah, that is really it in the end.
The most,
That's what we're going to see. hit
the
play.
most triggered bird wizard.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a lot of triggers on the stack. If Bant is going to go on and win, there's going to be a lot of triggers put on the stack.
Yep, we might get to see the escalator come out with all the creatures moving across the battlefield again and again and again. Yep,
Conveyor belt,
absolutely. That's where we earn our money, commentating that stuff.
Yeah.
Having to keep it going while all the creatures just round and round and round in loops. Yeah, it's a good time. But a lot of exciting new cards here. Bright Glass Gearhulk in the Bant tech. That's a little bit of
cool
spice.
one. Yeah.
It's a nice one.
It's a lot of value.
It is. Plenty of tutors in here. Tamio recently pointed in this Bant tech.
Yes. So Natural Order went down a point, Tamio went up a point. So this deck sort of net neutral post update.
Absolutely. So a few different cards there. Oko as well recently went down a point. So some powerful
Yes.
Planeswalkers there. We're going to see a Shuko. That's the way to trigger Nadu, we've decided. Just moving the little gloves around back and forth, swapping gloves back and forth, putting lands in play, more creatures in play.
Yeah, we're going to put our palms up like this when that goes on the...
You won't be able to see us because we'll be off screen, but
Just like,
trust
what's
us, in the
up?
background yeah, exactly. So we are going to head down to the match right now as our players draw their opening 7s. I believe that's WanChin on the right there. And on the left, we have Frank Dwyer. So he is our Grixis pilot.
And WanChin is our Bant Natural Order.
Bant Shuko.
Bant Shuko.
Bant Shuko, I've decided. There's a lot of cards to find Shuko in this deck, you know?
Yeah.
And I bet there will be a Shuko in play at some point.
Yes.
If WanChin, things go according to plan for her.
You'd be right. I think with a Shuko in play, this Bant Shuko deck will be winning.
I really think the Shuko is the thing holding up the Nadu, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, we call it Splinter Twin, right? Because that's the sort of the card that makes it all work, and I think Shuko is that for Nadu.
Yeah, Bant Shuko.
Absolutely. So looks like WanChin happy with her hand. So a few lands in there, a few spells, nice mix. But for Frank, going back to the well, going down to 6, hoping to find something a little bit better.
Yeah. Now, Frank's deck playing Deadpool, trading card. This is a matchup for Deadpool trading card. Trading text boxes. There's some really exciting text boxes on the Bant side of things.
Absolutely. Like Shuko.
Like Shuko.
I don't think you can swap a Shuko. It has to be with a creature.
As be a creature. So it'll be Nadu then.
I mean, I guess so. I guess.
That'd be very neat.
Absolutely. And both these players want to know, so off to a good start for today. That's where they want to be. Couldn't be any better. And here we go. So
yeah,
WanChin will lead off here with a fetch land and a pass back. And it'll be a swamp and a Nethergoyf. Newly pointed card.
Newly pointed. Still worth a point.
Yeah, still worth it at one point, actually.
For a 0-1?
Well, for now.
Actually,
how big do you think that's...
Currently, its power and toughness are its points trajectory. Was 0, now 1.
So do you think if it grows, that'll be predicting its points trajectory at the next?
2 to 3, 3 to 4.
Yeah. How big do you think this is going to be by the time it attacks next turn?
The average, probably 2. I would imagine crack fetch land, cast a sorcery.
Yep. Yeah, could be.
So 2 is the safe answer. The exciting answer is like 4.
4 would be impressive.
Yeah, that would involve like
it's like a thought scour milling like a tribal card or something.
Thought scour would be a cool thing. Although a free interaction, so
okay. So
1,
mental
2.
missteps trading here. It's a 1-2 now. Look out next points update. Fast on the draw there for WanChin.
So here we go. We can get some exciting things going on, and the thought scour, mental misstep is out of the hand, and now we're going to see a second land get played at the expense of a life.
Absolutely, and artifact lands in there as well, so some synergies potentially there.
Oh, strip mine. Could be another type for the Nethergoyf.
That's true. It will grow the Nethergoyf.
But we could also cast a... Oh, no. It's going to... That's a very exciting turn 1 from WanChin. What's the other cards in hand? And a pass back. Drawing a bad
like I saw a Nissa there in hand, so some options for next turn potentially.
Yeah, have a read.
Nethergoyf here, coming across for 2, as you predicted at the moment.
I believe WanChin knows exactly what this card does. She's just wondering why it's a point now. And
just counting it up here, so it looks like an island, a couple more lands here, so we will get a game here from Frank, despite the strip mine. That is always sort of, you're rolling the dice when you strip mine.
Yeah.
Sometimes your opponent just doesn't have a second land. They don't get to play Magic, which is my favorite way to win a game.
Yeah, although, and here, this one, also a newly minted pointed card. So we'll get to see, because these cards recently got a point. They're in play in turns 1 and 2. So they're good enough. And what is this? This is a...
There'd be a Crucible of Worlds there.
That's a really good...
That's a really good one with Fast Bond and Strip Mine.
That is handy.
We see second land and...
For a second life point.
WanChin says that's enough lands for me for now. Maybe next turn we'll play some more ones. But for now, I'm good. We'll just hold there.
These 2 points in play and this Nethergoyf, which I've been joking at its expense, with the Crucible Strip Mine lock, and this Nethergoyf being a very cheap threat, is really a wrench in this plan of WanChin's.
Yeah, I mean, despite repeatedly having his lands blown up, Frank's putting up a pretty good fight.
Because they're both 1-drop creatures. So,
Xavier not coming across for much damage, and whether Frank will ever have a second land to crack a clue is unclear at this point.
Although the fetch land makes it, you know...
That is insulation from the strip mines, true. So Nissa going to come down here. This is a really powerful one. Works really good with playing multiple lands a turn.
Although, there's an interesting interaction. You can crack the strip mine, target the polluted delta gets sacked, then you play another land per turn, look at this strip mine, and then you get... So the strip mine always gets its man with this combination at the expense of a little more life.
Correct. WanChin under the gun here from that Nethergoyf and also from her own life title. And we are going to see the trigger from the Nissa flip through. We're looking for an elf or an elemental.
Yeah, this card's very exciting as well. And also very good with this combination of cards. So there's the Shuko, the namesake card of the deck. There's a Nadu, not an elemental or an elf.
I've had a look through. Looks like Titania and Solitude. Those are the options.
And that is the Titania, I believe. I don't recall any Solitude arts like that. That one also gets shuffled in. Beautiful, beautiful. So it's sort of like a Tudor, this Nissa, with so few hits. You always get a 5-drop in this build.
That's true. So a little bit of ability to plan around it there, but honestly, just drawing an extra card for playing lands is pretty good.
And also, just trying to have a think, because there is a way of making more and more mana at the expense of life with Strip Mine and Crucible of Worlds.
You have to remember as well, floating mana here from the Nissa with that sort of Lotus Cobra-esque ability. So lots of mana here as well to play that 5-drop.
Titania could come down and just be too much for Frank to deal with. Because what you can do with Crucible of Worlds and Fastbond and a Strip Mine is you can tap one of your lands for mana, Strip Mine it, play that land, play the Strip Mine, tap it for mana, Strip Mine it, and this is costing you 2 life every time, but you get more and more mana.
Look at you, we'll make you into a combo player yet.
I've tried doing this in Cube. I have tried so hard to make this work in Cube. It works really well with a land that the Theros creature that gains a life whenever a land enters play.
Courser of Crufix.
That's how you go infinite.
Okay, so now we have got the Titania in play after making some mana. We're going to return a Wooded Foothills.
And no Courser of Crufix in WanChin's deck. For shame. Now, this is a lot of power and toughness for WanChin, and I don't think Frank has an answer to this.
Yeah, definitely under the gun here from this board. Saw a little bit of a glimmer of hope when that Netherglyph came down, starting to pressure a little bit, plus the damage from the Fastbond, but very quickly here, WanChin has stabilized this board and is turning the corner. This is sort of the explosive draw that WanChin wants.
Yeah, so yeah, WanChin is at 10 life, but I don't think she sort of has sack a land, get a moat. Sack any number of lands, get a moat with this current board state.
But luckily, Tamio is flying, so we can come across for 0.
And an island, the play, which not going to live for very long. Going to get strip mined. Trigger Titania.
This Grixis deck has a lot of basics, which normally serves you quite well.
Yeah, except for strip mine.
WanChin came prepared.
Yeah, she's got plenty of tokens.
She said Wasteland. No. I'm getting all the lands.
Strip Mine and Wasteland are the same amount of points in this format. Worth noting, if you're going to choose between the two, go with the one that's better.
For exactly situations like this.
Yeah.
Exactly, you know. So we do see those 5/3s there. Suddenly, a lot of power on WanChin's side.
Yeah.
And she will also go find a Surveil land to improve her draw. Just because, you know, wasn't ahead enough. Just wanted to make sure to really close the door next turn. And this is the speed of the format.
Yeah, and this is... Well, there's no way of knowing what turn it is. Usually you can look at the lands, but this the lands in play does not indicate the turns of this game
No, on either side. I think we might be up to turn 4. I think Frank's played a land every turn and then had it blown up every turn.
Yeah. Yeah, this is brutal. What a draw from WanChin. This is gas.
Yeah, this is really powerful.
And that is a modal double face card. I think...
That is a...
Going to play a land for turn?
That is a Conduit of Worlds. A sweet one in WanChin's hand.
So WanChin could pay a lot of life and make a lot of creatures. She could also just not do anything because going down to a lower life total is... Much lower life total than this is a bit risky. You open up... Oh, that is a Conduit of Worlds. I didn't know that card. Going to a much lower life total, you do leave yourself dead potentially to a Lightning Bolt. You don't want to do that.
Absolutely. Unlikely that the Conduit of Worlds is necessary. But this deck, as we can see, makes good use of fast movement. So you just want as many of those sort of Crucible of Worlds effects to play lands out of your graveyard as possible.
I'm going to see it be played. It also gives a little more stuff to do. A
little bit of flashback as well. So we can keep playing more lands as well. WanChin's going to play 2 more lands. Down to 7, but potentially a lot of elementals.
Yes.
Hiding in the woods there, ready to jump out. Fatal push for Frank, and that will be it. As he picks him up, and we head to game 2.
So that was a dominant display from WanChin, but let's see what sideboard options Frank has available to him.
Absolutely. So
because he's a little stretched. He's got to worry about... He hasn't seen a Nadu yet, but maybe you can assume it because he did see a Shuko get flipped over. and a Nadu. He did see a Nadu, actually, in the flip of the Nissa trigger.
It's true.
So he's got to worry about a Nadu combo. He's got to worry about his basics getting blown up. He's got to worry about Titania. He's got to worry about a great many things, and he only has 15 cards in his sideboard.
Absolutely. It is a tall order to get all of that together. So having his sideboard, a few different things are interesting. An Ashiok, maybe. We saw a lot of land searching there from WanChin and a little bit of graveyard as well. So that sort of hits on 2 axes. After that, though, a little bit more difficult. Obsidian Charmor, maybe a little bit of land destruction, opposition agent, some more interaction for that searching. And we love Submerge. Love a free Submerge.
Submerge is a good one. I suspect the Ashiok will come in. He's got to defend it, though. And what else he brings is a little, who knows. On WanChin's side, we see a Blightsteel Colossus.
I'm not sure what that's for, but I want to see it.
I want to see that in play as well.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of other...
We've got a poison counter. We've got that. We're ready. We were ready for you, WanChin.
Yeah, it isn't actually... It's the biggest infect creature that does not really require a poison counter. You don't need the token. You just need to go like, do you block it? No, you did.
It's really got super Death Touch for players.
Yeah, Death Touch to players. We've got interesting cards in the graveyard. I think WanChin also might have a tricky time sideboarding here because both decks operating on a couple of different axes. Some graveyard hate is good, but too much is bad.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a balance to walk against these Grixis decks, especially because they are really a pile of the best cards in the format.
But Scavenging Ooze, I suspect that'll come in.
Veil of Summer, a really nice one.
Yes, that one would be one that'll end up in the post board, enter the deck quite a bit with a lot of these Grixis decks playing around.
So I suspect it'll be small tweaks for WanChin, just improving cards here and there. And similar from Frank, I think. A couple really powerful sideboard cards, but overall, he'll just be hoping to maybe avoid getting strip mined every turn of the game.
Yeah, hope that doesn't happen. But on the other end, if Frank overboards for a strip mine lock, he could very easily lose to a pile of green creatures. A natural order for, well, there's no natural order for Atraxa, but just sort of value stuff can run him over.
And of course, there's always that bird. As you said, the most triggered wizard in the history of our game.
So triggered.
So triggered. So that could also be lurking in the back of his mind. A lot of different axes to fight on.
We'll just...
I hope you're enjoying coverage here today. We're into round 2 now, heading towards game 2 here at the Mana Clash. It's a big event, 160 players, 8 rounds. We're going to be here for a long day.
Yeah.
A lot of really cool magic coming down. And at the end of the day, a top 8, some big prizes on the line. A time walk, I believe you said?
There is a time walk for first place, which is really exciting. Winning a piece of power would be really cool. I think everyone in the room would be stoked to win that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a big day. We're here for the first couple of rounds. We'll be back later.
Yeah.
We're going to have a few other people jump in to walk you through some of these games.
And yeah, stay tuned for after this round. We're going to cut to Violet and Sahar with a bit of a metagame breakdown, a bit of a chin wag.
Yeah, they've got some really interesting content there that'll sort of keep you sated between rounds as we keep these players all moving around, get them seated, and head back for round 3.
And also, big sponsors of this event, and you see it on the playmats in the play area, MTG Bazaar. If you want to check out some singles for auction, check out their Facebook page, Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar, and give them a follow on Facebook. Check out what they're up to. I think they've got a website in the works. I don't know if that's actually confidential information, but they've got big things coming, and always exciting to see Pat at these events.
Absolutely. A big thank you to the community that makes this all possible. Our players here, so they're going to have a look at their 7s. Frank very quickly going back.
Yeah, he was
might have
not
been
happy.
not enough lands, and you really want extra lands against the strip mine deck, just in case.
Well, he had a lot of lands in his game 1 hand, and it didn't really help against strip mining, multiple strip lines potentially every turn. Then there are some draws that, as a Grixis player, you might have to just resign and say, like, look, I can't beat that.
You know what?
Like, turn 1 fast bond with strip mine, and then Crucible of Worlds, you got me.
You know what? There's only one strip mine in the deck, and sometimes if they've got it, they've got it.
Yeah. But there's definitely, like, you can get a little results oriented and worry too much about that.
That's true. Definitely, I suspect the strip mine is front of mind for
Yeah.
Frank right now after last game. Down to 5.
Down to 5.
Never happy to see that. WanChin doing a really good job of suppressing the fist pump.
Yeah.
Not looking too elated at
Yeah,
that.
she's just staring there. Just part of the day for her.
No, we know. I mean, we talked about it earlier today. One of the fantastic things about Australian 7-Point Highlander is that you get to bring your favourite deck, get to play great games. And as you say, you won't bring a deck that you're just as happy to go 2-4 as 4-2 with.
Yeah.
And so really, we all just want to play good games. And you're probably going to 5, well, at least their deck is powerful. So they might still be able to give you a pretty good game, to be honest.
Yeah, so Grixis Midrange doesn't have the super high ceiling as some of the other decks in the format, but it still has a lot of, as we see a Nethergoyf in hand, which we saw in game 1 it'd be sort of good, but not good enough. But if he plays a turn 1 Nethergoyf and then plays one of these cantrips into a bit more disruption, all of a sudden we're off to the races and doing things. Oh, is that an opposition agent? He's...
Looks like Baleful Strix, Opposition Agent, a Fetch Land, a Ragavan, a Preordain, the options in hand. And, a Consign to Memory as well. A nice one there. Can counter a Crucible of Worlds, counter some triggers.
Counter a Shuko.
Can counter a Shuko.
The namesake card of the deck. Only 1 land, and it's going to be really taxed on color. He's going with the turn 1 Dragon's Rage Channeler.
Dragon's Rage Channeler, so that's a really nice one. That'll help him find that second land, see which land he wants to get. Probably a blue-red land, maybe. Be able to cast a Preordain next turn, make sure he can find that second land.
Yeah, because he's only a 1-lander. He probably wants to go cantrip into his Nethergoyf. So if he gets a Black Source now, he can't go cantrip.
Yes.
And that will be tapped, and he won't be able to cast his Black Spell.
Umar WanChin says, what, paying mana for your spells? No, thank you.
Yeah.
And cast Once Upon a Time.
As all good stories begin, it starts with a Dragon's Rage Channeler interrupting the Once Upon a Time.
Once upon a time, there was a Dragon's Rage Channeler.
Yeah. But this time, the Dragon's Rage Channeler was in the pre-credits, like, prologue. The prologue was the Dragon Rage Channeler. Now the story begins.
Okay, sure. Yeah, now the story truly begins. And WanChin having a think, working out which card she wants. Few options there.
Cannot get that one with Once Upon a Time.
Fewer options
Yeah.
than it first seemed. We're going to take Nissa.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time, there was a Nissa, Resplendent Analyst.
Animist. Resurgent Animist.
Resurgent, not Resplendent, not an Analyst.
No, not resplendent at all. Quite splendid, in fact.
And not Surgeon, she's Resurgent.
She's already surged once. She's back again.
It's not her first rodeo. So we
land there for WanChin, and she will see what we can do on turn 1. Looks like a few different options. Swords to Plowshares, a Brainstorm I think I saw in there. So a few different things for her to do on turn 1. Has to weigh up how dangerous do we think this Dragon's Rage Channeler is, whether she can progress her game plan. This deck has a lot of mana dorks. I'm sure she'd love to start with one of them.
But also against your opponent, the Mulligan to 5, going 1 for 1, not a bad idea at this stage of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do know that Dragon's Rage Channeler not only will improve Frank's draws.
So it's really up to a Mana Dork or Swords. And we're seeing a Mana Dork, that's a lovely Birds of Paradise.
A beautiful Birds of Paradise there, yeah.
Seeing a... Oh, that's a Ponder, but a different language it looks like. Contemplation. Contemplation.
And so the extra Surveil there from the Dragon's Rage Channeler, very quickly putting that Cormick Angler in the bin. We're going to try and find a land. And keep them on top. Found one he likes. That'll be a swamp.
A swamp. So types. Not a crazy Dragon's Rage Channeler yet, but a 3/4 Goyf.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty dang good. That's a very powerful turns 1 and 2.
It is. Absolutely, it is. But for WanChin, the bird lived. It didn't get bolted. That's always a good sign.
That's very true.
Now we see what she can do with it this turn. We see Swords, Brainstorm, that Nissa that we know about.
And that is a Stoneforge Mystic
Very
Frank
nice.
just lets it resolve.
Few different options in WanChin's list to go find. Culture Complete, Shuko.
I'm doing the Shuko sign over here. I reckon it's going to be a Shuko. Maybe
It's
not.
a good question because really this is a question of, no, it looks like Culture Complete.
Ah,
So that says,
She's been-
WanChin's saying, I don't think you can remove this Stoneforge Mystic, and that's going to let me get this Culture Complete in.
either that or she has been tainted by Phyrexian oil. She's
That-
wanting to get completed herself.
Or, well, we know she
Complete.
doesn't have the Shuko
Complete.
yet, but
Yeah, or maybe maybe just like bluffing a Shuko in hand, or just getting a big, powerful creature.
yeah, or she just would like a 5/5 indestructible trample first strike haste creature with other abilities.
And we see a Thoughtseize on a stack. There could be responses. There's a Brainstorm that could protect the hand, but there's also a Veil of Summer.
Oh, Veil of Summer, that's a really strong one.
1 mana Cryptic Command.
Yeah, absolutely. So will be a fetch from WanChin. So some sort of response here we expect. This will also trigger the Dragon's Rage Channeler, so a little bit of surveilling for Frank as he tries to create some pressure. Really, he knows he's short on cards, so he's got to get this game over and done with quickly. Put the pressure on WanChin before her deck can, build up towards things like that Titania we saw.
Yeah, onus is definitely on Frank to put the pressure on and interact, although this is going to be brutal. That's brutal. How... And Frank just has to let that resolve.
A resigned hand wave there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's okay. That resolves.
So we're just working out on whether, the Surveil does go on the stack. Oh, yeah. And that's going to mean that this is a crazy, crazy Dragon's Rage channel. So it gets flying +2/+2. The Nether Goyf is a 4/5. So 7 power. As much as it would be lovely to have resolved a Thoughtseize, getting in there for 7, knocking WanChin down to 10. This is good pressure.
Absolutely. Lots of power in play. WanChin down already to half her life total. But she gets one tap with that Stoneforge Mystic. You know what that means.
We're completing this. So this one is going to make it a bit hard for the Nether Goyf to get in there.
Yeah, this will really gum up the ground nicely. But that Dragon's Rage Channel is still active, still going to keep chipping across.
Until the complete gets equipped to the Birds of Paradise. That'd be a scary bird.
That would be a scary bird. Giant Phyrexianized bird.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a weird part of Paradise, but Paradise nonetheless.
Well, Paradise to a Phyrexian is very different to Paradise to a bird.
Yeah. As WanChin starting to think about what to do with the rest of her mana, or rest of her turn.
Yes, has a Mind Orc she could deploy, has a Swords that she could maybe do something with. Decisions to make here, because could also keep those cards in hand for that Brainstorm. Try and find something a little bit better. In the end, just going to pass back, it looks like.
She's sort of ahead on board. She doesn't really need to do much. The onus is not on her to act. She can be reactive.
Yes, absolutely. Looks like Corey Steelcutter and Opposition Agent in hand there for Frank. So a couple powerful ones, but stymied on land. Looking for that third land, really.
Has to attack with the Dragon's Rage channel.
So that Dragon's Rage Channeler will come across for 3 in the air, but looks like WanChin has a response. Might see that Swords potentially as she sacrifices a fetch land to go find Hovering over a Tundra. A couple other options potentially as well in the deck. Basic Plains, a very pretty Basic Plains.
Yeah, that's very shiny.
From outer space.
Ooh la la. How do planes come from outer space?
In the same way that Deadpool is in Magic the Gathering, so is space.
Yeah, in the same way that Deadpool's in there, the same way that Gandalf can be equipped with a sort of feast and famine, and Ugin can crew a smuggler's copter. It's magic, folks.
How are you crewing Smuggler's Copter with Ugin? You know what, never mind. I don't want
He sort of plays with it like a parent feeding his kid with a spoon. Like, here comes the aeroplane. except instead of a spoon, it's a whole smuggler's copter.
Well, I
That's
can't
all.
wait to see fan art of that. Meanwhile, WanChin, she's casting her brainstorm, going to dig a little bit deeper, try and find a better card. For Frank, it was just a very sad Corey Steelcutter with no second spell to follow up. And he's had to pass back here.
It's
Firmly in control now, WanChin, I would say.
Frank, that Corey Steelcutter was pretty mediocre. You should sell it to me.
Players, of course, cannot hear us on coverage. That's just for you, our lovely viewers at home.
When will someone sell me a Corey Steelcutter?
WanChin has put 2 back now. She's going to untap, draw one of those. 2 cards in Frank's hand. WanChin looking to close the door here, I think. Drawn.
Let's see.
A fast bond for turn.
There's a very interesting cards in the hand.
Looks like we might see the Nissa come down. We saw this one last game. A very powerful one that can make mana, find some elementals.
Slices of dices.
It does. And it's a 3/3.
Yeah. So,
Absence Pilgrim as well, so just getting more mana set up. So much mana for WanChin. That Germ token with the Culture Complete going to hang back. Continue to check the Nether Goyf. Dismember drawn for Frank. That's nice. So that, one of the few answers to the Germ token from Culture Complete.
It is.
We could
Now,
see potentially that unlock the Nether Goyf.
that's true. Massacre would have been a much better draw here, but I wonder if Frank is playing it.
But unfortunately, Frank does not get to Demonic Tutor each turn. He has to just take the card off the top of his library.
Yeah.
So we will get rid of the Germ token there, paying 2 life from Frank. And we might see the Nether Goyf getting busy, getting into the combat zone.
Yep, seeing an attack. 4/5. WanChin valuing her life total. She is down to 9, so...
Now just bring up that Culture Complete there, because 7 mana to equip. We've currently got 5, so we're getting there.
At 5, but a land jumps her.
A land would trigger the Nissa, so that would get us all the way to 7, and we're going to see Titania.
So this is
That's a pretty good one.
a very good one.
That's a pretty good one. Let's go make some 5/3s. Those
You
will
get
also
land back.
check the Nether Goyf.
Yeah. Titania is absolutely huge in this matchup. Lightning Bolt is very good against it, but not a lot of other things are particularly good. It can't get Fatal Pushed. There are a lot of the unconditional removal spells will kill it. However, a lot of the 1-mana stuff tends to miss it.
As you'd hope for from a 5-drop.
Yeah. The red spells are very good against it. The black spells, not so.
WanChin is going to get a land back, immediately sacrifice it. So she's going to get an elemental from Titania. She'll get some mana from Nissa, and she'll get a trigger from Nissa as well.
Yeah, everything's firing off for WanChin now.
Yep, truly firing on all cylinders here. Frank with a little bit of a stumble, couldn't find his 3rd land, but WanChin said, absolutely no way am I letting you back in this game. I'm going to slam the door shut. Swords for the Deathrite, for the Dragon's Rage Chandler.
Yeah, different DRC.
Different, yeah. DRS, DRC. Powerful 1-drops everywhere in this format here. Australian 7-point Highlander. Making some mana. There's that elemental. And now we're going to do some cascading. We're going to flip through the deck, try and find an elemental or an elf.
Which will be a Solitude, unless if there's a different elemental thingamajig.
We could also see Endurance from the sideboard, potentially.
Endurance, very good against Nether Goyf.
Couple options. The suspense is getting weird. We build up past a lot of good cards. Now in a Spirit.
This is the nervous point where you're worried about flicking over too many and have to get a judge involved. Oh, there we go. And
This is the point for me where I start questioning, did I sideboard that card out? I'm certain I didn't, but I'm starting to worry. You know, we're down to the last few cards in my deck. Is it there, or have I goofed?
Luckily for WanChin, she has not goofed. The Solitude is entering her hand, shuffling a lot of her library there at the bottom. So sometimes, only 1 card. If this was open deck list, a keen eye could deduce what is that card on top, and then not be worth the mental effort of figuring it out, as WanChin casts to deduce.
And here it is. Stock up. Your new favorite card.
My new favorite card, I gotta go swing by Pat, the booth, Joshua Patch's MTG Bazaar. Check him out. Let's see if they have stock ups in stock. If they need to stock up on stock up.
couple different Planeswalkers in the option there from stock up.
Yeah.
Look like a
Stock up
Teferi
on
being
Planeswalker.
taken, one other card as well. Oko getting shipped to the bottom.
Dang.
No love for the sexy elf man. Fairy.
Sexy
right
Fey elf creature.
WanChin says, all right, well, I've done enough for my turn. All I did was put 2 5/3s in play, draw a card, and yeah, you'll go. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, mate. Do your worst. 1 spell cast for turn, and that's it.
Currently a 4/5, the Netherglyph, but with that Mishra's Bauble in play, could become a 5/6. It's a bit of a trap laid here by Frank.
But also, yeah, you'll just take. You killed my elemental. Uh-oh.
Yeah, WanChin says, that's fine. Okay, my elemental will die, I guess. Plenty more where that came from.
Yeah, that's okay.
Frank will pass, draw in WanChin's upkeep from that Bauble. Has to be a good one. Look like a Molten Collapse. So that an answer to the Titania, potentially.
Yes. But also looking for both a land and a 1-drop. Maybe a 0-drop. That's really good here.
Skyclave Apparition there, taking care of the Netherglyph.
It's pretty brutal. As WanChin has a bunch of options. Can also cast a Teferi, which really good against Grixis and their counter spells. Not so against other stuff. We're seeing an opposition agent being flicked around in Frank's hand. So that just having to get cast at sorcery speed.
Yeah, bounce the Corey, still kind of put that back in hand, just really pinching Frank's mana. I do want to congratulate WanChin. That's a really nice Teferi on theme with the bird art in her Nadu deck.
That is a good point. It's on theme.
That's very important. Not many people know, but right before the top 8, we do actually take all the decks and we judge them aesthetically.
Yes.
And you get bonus points based on that.
Yeah, it's a separate category from like brewing.
Yeah.
Like brewing's a whole different kettle of fish, but theme-wise, WanChin's deck so far, 10 out of 10.
Yep. Beautiful deck, excellent theming, well done. And winning the match of Magic as well.
Yeah, remember that part, that is important?
Some people think that's important too. So a island cycling there, Lauren revealed, drawn. So sort of a land for Frank.
But it's just too little too late
Because
for
WanChin,
Frank.
WanChin really turning the screws now. So many permanents in play, so much power, so much toughness.
We have a quick look at Frank's deck list. Is there a massacre for... I don't think there is a massacre for him to draw to as he extends the hand and concedes the match. WanChin's cards lining up really well there. It looked pretty strong resolving a Titania against Grixis.
And I'm disappointed. No Shuko's cited.
No, that's a shame.
Just a load of Titanias and Elementals and Strip Mines repeatedly, which looked pretty good.
That looked good.
Pretty good. So WanChin there takes that match 2-0. She's moving on to 2-0, the perfect start to the day. 2 down, 6 to go. Very, very exciting here. As we come back to the booth, Ian, Alec, we're here. You missed us doing the Shuko sign, but trust me, we were doing it. Yeah, exactly, Shuko. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
2 rounds down, 6 to go. It's a big event, 160 players. Time Walk up the top.
Time Walk up
Going to
the
give away a
grabs.
Time Walk right at the end of today, but it's going to be a busy day. Did you enjoy that match there?
Yeah, that was sweet. It was interesting to see how that matchup can go. We also, to be fair to Frank, he didn't have the best draws. That was a bit of a stumble. Mulligan to 5, game 1. Mulligan to 6 or 5, game 2.
5 again or game 2? Yeah, a lot of mulligans, which is always the unfortunate part of Magic happens to...
Yeah, he spent a lot more time shuffling than making relevant decisions. Hopefully he can bounce back from that and get back on the winning. He's got one.
Absolutely.
He's 1-1.
Still 1-1. Still
live.
Still live. Still a lot of opportunity for him. A lot more Magic to play today.
He's playing Deadpool trading cards, and there's another new card here.
Corey Steelcutter we saw as well. A couple of new ones.
He's got some sweet new cards that are very, very powerful. So he's on the right deck. And could be a good day for him.
Absolutely. And for WanChin, that's the perfect start, right? We saw a really sweet deck. We're going to see lots of different parts of that deck. A little bit of, a lands deck with some of the fast bond, some of the Crucible World stuff. We talked about the Nadu stuff, it never showed up. We saw Nissa look really good there. Although just sort of the good green, white, blue cards. Teferi, obviously an all-star against Grixis as well.
Yeah, Nadu facilitating overall a decent creature game plan. So Nadu is a combo with Shuko, but also you get to fill up your cards with stuff like Stoneforge Mystic, which can fetch you Shuko, also a Cauldron Complete,
Yeah.
and you get to smash in your opponent.
Sometimes you want a nice pair of gloves. Other times you want a huge Phyrexian monstrosity.
I don't know how to do a symbol for a Cauldron.
Haven't got that one prepared? Didn't come with that one?
I don't know. I've never understood what's going on in the Cauldron Complete's art. I don't know its head from its tail. But I'll have to do some studying.
We'll work that out.
Yeah, next time you see us in the booth, we'll have worked that out.
All right, that's going
There'll
to
be diagrams.
And that's going to be all from us. 2 rounds down. We're going to jump out.
Yeah.
Have some other people jump in.
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. We will be back very shortly.
Because we've got Sahar and Violet with some hot content, baby.
Absolutely.
But from us, au revoir.